Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today it is our second lecture pertaining to the topic The Price of Flowers, written by Prabhat Kumar. You already know that the narrator of the story is Mr. Gupta, who is an Indian living in London, and the story revolves around a poor English family headed by a widow mother, Miss Guilford. And you already know that Mr. Gupta meets Maggie, daughter of the widow, Miss Guilford, by chance at a vegetarian restaurant. And at the first sight, he presumes that the girl was looking at the narrator very keenly, and her constant gazing at the narrator displayed that she was perhaps interesting in him. Now, let us see what happens in the story next. I became more curious when had she inquired about me. Why was she a mysterious child? I kept thinking of her poverty-stricken, sad, anxious figure. Could I help her in any way? As you already know, that the girl, after finishing her lunch, inquired about Mr. Gupta from the cashier that was the person sitting in the corner an Indian or not, and we already know that the cashier replied in affirmative that perhaps he might be an Indian. Then we know that the narrator, that Mr. Gupta, after finishing his lunch, inquires about the girl from the cashier that when the girl comes to this restaurant, and from the waitress and the cashier, he knows that the girl often comes to this restaurant on Saturdays, as Saturday is the off day. The author says that I became more curious. The author became more curious. He wanted to know about the girl who gazed at author very keenly on that particular day, who was showing her interest in the author. Why had she inquired about me? The author became more curious that why she inquired about him from the cashier. Why was she a mysterious child? I kept thinking of her poverty-stricken, sad, anxious figure. The author kept thinking of her of the girl's poverty-stricken, sad, and anxious figure. He began to think as to how she could help the girl. Can I help her in any way? The week passed, Saturday came again, and I went to the same vegetarian restaurant once more. As I entered, I saw her sitting at the same table as before. She was eating. I went up to her and took the chair opposite hers, saying good afternoon. Narrator says, Mr. Gupta says that when week passed and Saturday came again, it means on next Saturday, he went to the same vegetarian restaurant. To his surprise, as he entered, he saw the girl sitting at the same table as on the previous Saturday. She was eating her lunch. Mr. Gupta took a chair opposite to her and wished her good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir, she responded hesitantly. She responded with some hesitation. The girl also said good afternoon to Arthur. By making one brief remark after another, I was able to start a conversation. At last she asked, "Are you an Indian?" Mr. Gupta says, after a few minutes, she asked Mr. Gupta if he was an Indian. Mr. Gupta replied, "Yes, excuse me, are you a vegetarian?" She wanted to know. Then she asked him if he was a vegetarian. Mr. Gupta replied that he was a vegetarian. Why do you ask that? I have heard that most Indians are vegetarians. So, Mr. Gupta tells the girl that why you ask these questions. The girl replies that she had heard that most Indians are vegetarians. Who told you that? I asked. Mr. Gupta tells the girl that who has told you that? My brother is in India, he is a soldier. The girl replies that she had been told by her brother, who is serving as a soldier in India. I am not much of a vegetarian, I answered her question, but I enjoy a vegetarian meal now and then. Mr. Gupta says to the girl that although I am a vegetarian, but I am not a strict vegetarian. I enjoy vegetarian meal now and then. Off and on, he enjoys vegetarian meal. I learned that she lived with her old mother in Lambeth, old widowed mother in Lambeth. Mr. Gupta, the narrator, says that he learned from the English girl Maggie, whose name was Maggie, that the girl is living with her mother, who is an old widow in Lambeth. Do you hear from your brother? Then Mr. Gupta continues the conversation and tells the girl that have you heard from your brother or not, so from some couple of days. Thanks, stay blessed.